Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and demo of the brand new Huda Beauty matte and metal melted shadows. First off, what are they? What does it mean? Why is it in a tube if it's an eyeshadow? Now before I get into that, first off I bought 3 of them and they retail in at a whopping £22, which is quite pricey. I bought mine from Feel Unique in the UK, where you can sign up for their platinum account and therefore you can have 10% off any brand of your choice from their website for up to 6 months. After 6 months you can then change it to something else or remain the same. I have it set as Huda Beauty, so I got 10% off of these, which is obviously very helpful when they cost £22. Now altogether she released 5 shades. Like I said, I bought 3. I literally ordered them or bought them the day they came out and I got them the following day. I have worn all 3 of them, and what I did was I actually purposely bought 3 of the palest shades because I really wanted to see how these pale shades would work on somebody with a medium skin tone, and hopefully it'll help those of you out there who've also got deep skin as well. So let me just read their description of what their claims are and then I'll let you know what my thoughts are. So it's a dual-ended liquid shadow combining a rich velvety matte formula on one side and an over-the-top sparkly one on the other side. So it's dual-ended. Designed to be layered or used on their own, the dual-ended matte and metal shadows deliver a rich pigmentation, intense shimmer, blendability and longevity. The shadows stay placed for up to 12 hours. The velvety soft matte shadows bring a richly saturated colour of pigment that's both easy to blend and build by finger or using a brush. The powder finish holds oil-absorbing properties that help keep the product in place longer without creasing or fading. The metal shadows bring quick dry properties to a high-class glitter formula, ensuring a smudge-proof, shiny and sparkling finish. Lightweight and easy to apply, the paintbrush-like applicator allows for precise application to control the glitter intensity and is perfect for liner looks. The metallic formula dries down smoothly to ensure your eyeshadow look is fit for whatever fun you get up to. So the ones that I got were this one here called Private Jet and Shimmering Sunset. Each shadow has its own name. Then I got Bamboo Hoops and Faux Fur, and then Bubble Bath and Pink Champagne. Now first off, in terms of what the actual applicator is like, it comes in this massive tube as you guys can see, and then on each end all you have to do is twist it and then the applicator comes out. So for the matte shadow you get a flat doe foot applicator, which makes it easy to apply to your lids without any fluffiness happening, to make it easily glidable. So the first one, Faux Fur, has got this lovely, very creamy looking texture, and it has a very peachy matte finish. And as you can see, it applies thickly and then it's blended out, and it almost blends into my skin completely because of my skin tone. So for somebody like me, it could work well as like a cut crease kind of application, or just as a base, but in terms of how much colour it delivers, it does not work so well on my skin tone. The next one that I'm going to show you is Private Jet, and this one also, as you can see, has a very thick and creamy texture, and then once you blend it out, it is a beautiful kind of pale mauvey pink sort of shade, which I think would look really nice on so many people. This other one now, which is called Bubble Bath, is a very dusty matte pink. Again, it's very, very creamy, and once it dries and blends down to a soft powdery velvety finish, it has an almost mauve pink look to it. Another shade which could potentially be ashy on deeper skins, but I think that if you don't blend it out and you use it more as an intense shade, it could work well on you. See, here they are, all the matte shades from a distance. As you can see, the one in the middle, which is called Private Jet, is probably the one that will be the most wearable on all skin tones from the 3 that I'm showing you. This one here is almost the same colour as my skin, so for me it would just work as a complete overall base shade. This one here, which is called Bubble Bath, is the kind of shade that would look slightly ashy on deeper skin tones. So you may want to bear that in mind if you're going to use it on your bare lid. You may want to neutralise your eyes altogether. So next I'm going to show you what the shimmery shades look like. I'm going to layer them on top of these. They all work perfectly fine on their own, just to let you guys know. It's just that because obviously you've got no choice but to use both of them. Well, you don't have to. But I want you guys to see how they work as a combo, because that is the whole purpose why most of you would have purchased this. First off, here is the liner type of brush that I described at the beginning of the video, making application actually very, very easy. But you have to remember to kind of brush off your brush any excess product, otherwise you could end up putting on more than you need. So this one is the first one, called Bamboo Hoops, and it is a beautiful gold shade. It looks amazing. Look at how it just shimmers on top, and then you can even blend it in with your finger to kind of sheer it out slightly if you want to, or you can apply another layer on top if you want to. But one thing I have noticed with these is that if you put on too many layers, it starts to flake off and it starts to crease on your eyes quite a bit. Very similar to Colourpop's Supernova eyeshadows. This one here is called Shimmering Sunset. Oh my god, I think most of you will tend to go for this. It's so pretty. It's a gorgeous kind of bronzy amberish gold shade, and look how amazingly it works with the colour underneath. It's absolutely stunning. Let me just pat it down a little bit. You don't have to pat it down. Everybody applies makeup in their own different ways. I'm just showing you one of those. And then let's layer a little bit more. Just so that you can see how intense you can make it and how easily it blends into the shadow underneath as well, which by the way is now completely powder-like. But can you see that even though it's powder-like, you can't blend it? Once it's dried down, it's completely dried down. I'm showing you the edge of this. Look, that line, that harsh line is not shifting. So you need to work with this while it's still wet, otherwise it will not budge. So this last one is called Pink Champagne. Another absolutely beautiful rosy pink sort of colour. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like a rosy, silvery sort of pink. It's like the perfect kind of pink that will go with all skin tones. And then just after patting it down into the shadow itself, you see how nicely it works with the shadow underneath. Let's layer a little bit more. Why not? These aren't very thick layers, by the way. I haven't gone back into the tube. Waste not, want not, people. And then pat it down. And voila! Here is how all three of these look when you pair them with their matte shade, and how they work with the shades as well. One thing to also remember is that you don't necessarily have to, if you buy more than one, you don't have to use the same base with the same lid topper, and so you can mix and match. I've done that. I've used a couple of them together that don't match the base shade. It doesn't matter. It's all about playing around with colour. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to wipe this off, and I'm going to start the demo on my face. I'm going to go into a little bit of description as I go along as well, doing my review at the same time, just so that you guys can see how it works in person. I'm going to use nothing on the eyes except these shadows. At the moment, I've just got my brow bone highlight done, which is actually a Huda Beauty, one of the, I think it's the Pink Sands highlighter palette. And I've got P. Louise base primer on my lid in the shade Rumour. Alright, so the first shade I'm going to use is this one called Faux Fur. I'm going to apply it all over my lid and blend it out. I'm not really feeling doing a cut crease today. It's too much energy, too much effort. So a nice, I wouldn't really call it a thickish layer, but do you see how this would easily work if you did want to do a cut crease? See how nice and thick that is? I'm just using a Colourpop blending brush, and I'm just going to blend it out, because like I said, you've got to work with it while it's still wet, because once it's stuck there, it does not budge. And that is a pro and a con. See now, can you see that once it's blended out, it's actually almost invisible. It's almost exactly the same colour as the P. Louise base, and it's like I've got nothing on my eyes at all. So now obviously I need to add a bit of colour to my eyes because what's this? Private Jet, because that colour was amazing. So what I'm going to do is I want to apply it to my crease area. So I'm just going to do quite a soft line because as you can see the colour is quite pigmented and it also a little bit goes a really long way. So just apply a little bit and then build up the colour as you want. But remember, once it starts to dry, you can't move it, so you got to work quick. I'm going to use exactly the same brush and it has dried down to a very soft and velvety feeling and powdery feeling finish. It feels powdery but it's not powdery. If it was powdery it would blend out. Just applying it very roughly to the crease area and now start to blend and blend and blend. We got to move quick, people. We got to move quick. Huda don't wait around for no one. It's all about quick beauty these days. So now it is blending. It feels like I am dragging liquid, like a thick liquid foundation across my eyes. But that's fine. It just means you need to do a little bit more blending. Alright, now that I've done that, the difficulty with me is one eye seems to be a little bit more intense than the other. I put 2 layers on that, but 1 layer on that. I don't know if that's got to do with the fact that this had more product build up on it by the time I got to my second eye. But on one side it has definitely applied a lot more cleanly than the other. This is the patchy side, this is the non-patchy side. This is the patchy side because I had to apply 2 layers. From what I can see with this product, it does not wear well if you have to layer it. The same goes for the metal sides as well. Layering just doesn't seem to work. This is the kind of product where you can only use it with 1 layer. And if you don't apply enough with that 1 layer, unfortunately you'll have to apply more, but bear in mind patchiness may happen. Okay, before I move on to the metal shades, I'm going to do my lower lash line, and I think I will use the other matte shade, this one called Bubble Bath. This one is the slightly ashier one. When it's a liquidy product, it can have the tendency to try and get into your line creases and accentuate them. So with this one, again, apply only a little bit to the lower lash line and blend it out as soon as you can. Because the kind of colour it is as well, bordering on greyish pink, you don't want it looking old. Well, there's no other word to use other than old, right? Okay, from what I can see, it has bunched up under one eye. And I can't shift it because it's now dried down, so it's stuck. The colour itself is not so bad on its own. I mean, look at me, I look weird, right? when I put my kohl liner on, it probably won't look so bad. But one thing I can say is that the blending out is the difficult bit on your lower lash line. The colour itself doesn't look so bad, but there's hardly any colour there because it's such a pale shade. I'm going to use the shade called Bamboo Hoops, which is on the other side of Faux Fur. It's a beautiful light gold shade. So let's apply that first, all over the lid. Because it's got a beautiful, like, very easy to use brush, you can apply quite a bit quite quickly. You can use the brush and just leave it as it applies, which will work very well if you're doing a cut crease because the brush is not fluffy at all. So you've got more control. But what I generally tend to prefer to do is use a flat brush and just to kind of blend it and pat it in around the edges. I don't want a harsh line because I'm not doing a cut crease. So I can blend around the edges to slightly soften it. But it's such a pretty shade. Forget about the base shade, which is a bit, well, pointless on my skin tone and many other people's. Unless you are a cut crease kind of daily person. I ain't got time for that. On its own, this shade will look amazing. I'm also finding, because I've got two different eye shapes, this eye is a little bit more deep set because of an eye condition I've got. Therefore, my crease is more prominent. The line in here is a lot more difficult for me to blend than it is here because my crease is not as defined here. So I can easily kind of pull it up. whereas in here it's kind of stuck in the crease and it refused to blend. So what I've done is I've taken this brush and tried to blend around the edges, but from the previous product this brush has gone kind of hard. So it's like, I know it's like a liquid to powder product, so shouldn't it be like to powder by the time it's dried in the brush? Am I just making that up? Oh, the thing is, it's so lumpy now. It's like, it's not smooth. It's definitely not glitter. It's definitely metallic. And when the chunks come off, it may seem like glitter, but it's actually not. And I can feel it. It feels quite heavy on my eyes because I've got more than one layer on. This definitely only works well if you apply one layer. I think I'm going to use Shimmering Sunset and just apply it to the lower lash line, but just on the inside of the lash line, just to open up my eyes slightly. And I only have to use the brush for that. I don't really need to blend much. So we'll just leave that as like an intense line because it looks fine just as it is without it being interfered with. So what I'm going to do for the final bit is I'm going to use the shade Pink Champagne, and I'm just going to very lightly dot it on my tear duct area. You really do have to brush off a lot of the excess product from these from these tubes, by the way, before too much comes out. But I'm just going to dab it rather than swipe it on my tear duct area, and that works perfectly well as a nice shimmery eye opener. Okay, so there we have it. Let me just finish off the rest of my face because I feel really undone, and then let me please come back and finish off the review for you guys, just so that I can let you know my final thoughts and add on a few extras that I haven't mentioned as yet. Okay, so I am back. The rest of my makeup is done. So what are my overall thoughts of these melted shadows? I give them a 6 out of 10. First off, when I applied it to my lower lash line, blended it out, if you were to wear normal powder eyeshadow, if you are a contact lens wearer, or even if you aren't, if the powder gets in your eye, you can just kind of blink it away and it's fine. I have now got, on my contact lenses, I've got eyeshadow stuck to one side here and another side here, and it's not coming off. It's actually clouding my vision. So even though this is one of those products that does not budge, once it's stuck to your eyes, it don't budge from there either. Now I'm going to have to go into my bathroom, take out my lenses, clean them, put them back in. Inconvenience long. So that is a minus for somebody like me, and there are loads of people who do wear contact lenses out there. I really do quite like the metal sides. I think that the shades are really pretty. However, I'm not sure if you can tell, but because I've got more than one layer on my eyelids, what has happened is the natural lines of your eyes, your like the wrinkles in your eyes, not from aging, just from normal having an eyeball, it's now, what it's done is it has settled into those lines, it has accentuated them, and it looks like I've got kind of crinkly looking eyelids. And that has happened on the lower lash line as well. And bear in mind, I only went in with one layer. So these definitely accentuate all lines around your eyes, especially if you dare to go in with more than one layer. Who needs to look like they're 60 when they're 20 years old? Like, seriously? In terms of the matte eyeshadows, I think they're nice, but I don't really think it's something that I'm probably going to use often. I just think that it's too long-winded. Oh, it goes from liquid into cream powder, clogs up your brush. You can blend it, yeah, that's fine, but it dries so quickly that once that harsh line is there, that harsh line is going to remain unless you take a powder product to blend it out. Another inconvenience. So that is why I have given this product a 6 out of 10. £22 is a lot of money for, in essence, 2 eyeshadows. I mean, her eyeshadow palettes, which have got, what, 18 shadows, and they're 50 odd quid, they're expensive, but at least you're getting 18 eyeshadows out of this. For this, you're just getting one lowly little product with 2 ends on either end. I find that the matte shades themselves are quite fair in colour as well. I know the other 2 are slightly deeper, but even the darkest one that I had, when I applied it to my lid, I had to go in with more than one layer to build up that colour. And then when I'd layered it, it started to go patchy as well. Another reason why I've given this product a 6 out of 10. So if you've got any more comments or questions about this product, please feel free to ask me below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully I will try to get this loaded up today. Today is actually the 1st of January 2019, people. Happy New Year's. Hope you're all great. So far my New Year's is going fabulously. I hope that the rest of the year remains this way as well. So that's it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.